Warning. The Dragon Between podcast may contain language and adult humor that is unsuitable for those 13 years and younger. Viewer discretion is advised. You're listening to the Dragon Between podcast, a 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons campaign set in the Eberron pulp fantasy setting created by Keith Baker. New episodes are recorded every Sunday and released on the following week. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube channel for clips and future episodes. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter for updates and news on the podcast. And now on with the show! It has been over a month since the events that led an adventuring group east and then northeast, terminating at the edge of a mountainside, having to deal with a massive Warforged Colossus nearly losing their lives in pursuit of this vampire, Elric Fateweaver. The group defeated their foe and returned back to the city of Sharn, the city of towers, collecting their rewards and then separating from each other for a term of 3 weeks. It is now the 15th of Ron. Sul. First day of the week. You've all been summoned to the city of Korth, the capital of the nation of Karrnath, to present yourselves before the Committee of the 12. The 12 being an organization that trains the dragon-marked spellcasters of all the different dragon-marked houses. The weight of age is apparent even as you pass under the gates and enter Korth. And many of the stone buildings here appear thousands of years old, their crumbling walls and edifices displaying the decorative arts of a bygone age. The buildings are as massive as they are old, and many take up entire blocks of the city and stretch to fill the sky. Korth is the capital and the largest city within Karrnath, nestled between the Karn River to the north and the Nightwood to the east. Korth has been Karrnath's capital since long before the rise of the Empire of Galifar. The city is currently ruled by Karrnath's King Caius III from his palace of Crownholm, and although he leaves the day-to-day management of the city to his civic minister Huron Irtinit, the management of the city's garrison, the White Lions, he leaves to his general Tharum. The city itself is divided up into 5 wards: High Court, Temple, Commerce, Community, and the Low District, separated by riverside bluffs. The city has its own airshop docking tower, compliments of House Lorandar, a lightning rail station, and a harbor along the Karn River. Many notable institutions within the city include the 12, of course, several of the dragon-marked enclaves, including the headquarters for the eastern branch of House Karrnath. Hovering high above the center of Wolvern Park, you make your way to a platform beneath, and you can see the Magician's College for the dragon-marked houses, hovering high above. You've all been summoned to a private meeting with a representative from House Tharashk. You're not entirely sure what you've been summoned for exactly, what work this may entail. You have only been told that you are currently meeting your very own representative from the Order of Orion, your fellow companion, the wizard, Eli Stormbringer, who has already traveled to the Tower of the 12. One by one, you all ascend into the Tower of the 12, and you're directed towards a chamber just outside of an audience chamber. You can see various individuals milling about, and you each begin reconnecting as one at a time, or two at a time, you see your fellow companions mixed in with the crowd. And Zito, as you have been reconnecting and traveling through the nation of Karrnath, attempting to follow your leads, all of the leads have led you back to this establishment, this college for the mages. Not unlike the obsidian tower that floats within Sharn for the Order of Orion. And as you've been mingling with the crowd, after receiving your summons by the Order of Orion to head to meet with the committee, you now see your former companions from the ordeal within the sky, all mingling within the crowd.
Who is closest to the edge of the crowd?
You see, almost immediately, you see the very tall, imposing figure of what you assume is the Goliath cleric, Gunthral.
Zito will call out to Gunthral, over here. And he'll pitter-patter all the way over to Gunthral.
Okay.
I'll walk towards him. Hey, what's going on, Zito?
It's been a while since I've seen you. As I spent all my time researching these nodes around the land, some rather interesting findings. What have you found out recently?
Did you know they have 17 different meads here? And other ones called ale, and got to know some guys and gals at the several establishments.
17? You only told me 14.
I don't know.
You know,
As the two of you,
good to
Zito, as you're getting familiar with Gunthral, you see the familiar sight of the fair-haired druid that you met in your travels aboard the Cloud Destiny, standing next to a half-orc gentleman resplendent in armor. And Ender and Auri, you noticed the imposing figure of Gunthral conversing with Zito, intermingled with the crowd.
I'm gonna tap Ender on the arm and and point over towards them, like kind of motioning, like, you see? And then I'm gonna run up to Zito and just pick him up and hug him. Oh my gosh, it's been so long. What are you doing here?
Please put me down. I don't like getting picked up.
Oh, sorry.
It's nice to see you too, Ari. Zito's gonna compose himself again. And this is go ahead, Ender.
I'm gonna hover above you guys with my arms crossed and call out to you and say, hello. If it isn't the cold event.
Yes, hello, Ender. As I was saying, I was researching these nodes that are going haywire across this land here, and my research has led me here.
I wonder if that's why we're all gathered.
Oh, you received a summons as well?
Yes, we did. Some kind of secret meeting.
Gunthral, as you're scanning the crowd, feeling up Ender's shoulder with your dirty hand, you see the familiar sight of your ranger friend, Lathana. She is currently sporting a different getup than she was before, though. No longer the simple leather armor. She now appears to be dressed in a shining breastplate. And Lithana, you see your companions all gathered together for the first time in over a month.
Oh, hi, hello there. And if you look over and see her, she's carrying a big bottle of something. She has the smell of alcohol on her breath. And she looks much more relaxed than usual.
Where you been drinking?
Oh, right down the street. They've got some red-headed bartender that just keeps pouring me drinks. What about you?
Well, I think we had a few drinks a couple of times, but I don't know. I've been rolling from hay bale to hay bale, basically.
Sounds like you, Gunny.
Hey, when you get a hold of these little gold coins things, you don't let them go.
Yeah, if you look closer, you can see that she definitely has a couple more lines on her head, and there's a undertone of worry on her face. But her persona is one of very relaxed.
Whoa, your armor looks so cool, Athana.
Oh, thank you. I had to clean it a couple of times because I threw up on it, but that's why it's so shiny.
Lithana, sorry, I was going to say, Lithana, as you've been looking at Auri, she is now wearing a resplendent studded leather getup. And she has a traveling cloak of some sort, which is thrown back currently over one of her shoulders.
Well, you're looking pretty nice yourself.
Thank you. But have you been sick? You've been throwing up?
Oh no, just drinking,
Oh, got it. I learned my lesson with that one. I don't drink.
Yeah, Arya, you rip anybody else's arm off lately?
I try not to think about that.
And the fella's like, oh, that was funny.
Yeah, we were talking about it at the pub over there, and people didn't believe it. We should bring you over there and introduce you. Yeah, there's a couple.
No, heck, I'm alright, thank you. Wow, we're almost all here.
Yeah. Where's Eli and Katari?
Looking around the chamber, you can all make perception checks if you like.
Or just rely on my base perception.
Yeah, you and me both, Gunny. We're both so much more aware of our surroundings because of our DM likes to throw monsters and Warforged.
Look at that crow playing chess over there.
Yeah. I think I stepped in something.
Auri, Gunthril, and Ender, you all three see what you think is your wizard companion who has just slipped out of the chamber into the main audience chamber, adjacent to where you are currently. You're not 100% certain, but it looked like him. He was wearing a different outfit than normal, and he had a very wide brim hat with a long plume feather on one side.
This is when we all point in his direction and charge towards him, right? Like the entire party.
Well, Auri saw him for a moment, and then he slipped through the door, and the door closed.
I'm gonna rush towards the door and peek in if it's unlocked.
Same.
The door is closed currently, and there are two guards wearing plate armor, shining plate armor, and they have glaives. And when you begin to step forward, one of them looks to you, whoever is closest first, and says, "State your business."
Oh, sorry, I didn't see you there. I thought I saw a friend of mine slip by.
A friend? Slip by? Not likely. No one slips by me unless they have a reason to be in the chamber.
Then you don't know him very well.
Speak up, sir. I can't hear you under all that metal.
Ender stays underneath the metal.
Okay.
He just speaks.
Is there anything else I can help
I'm
you
quiet.
with?
Thank you.
Yeah, you see that crow playing chess over there? It's amazing. What are we doing over here?
And the man just sort of looks at you. He says, well, currently you're bothering me.
Why are we bothering him?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I saw Eli, but clearly you needed an invitation to get past that door.
Oh, Captain Stormbringer. Is that what you're referring to?
Yes, Eli. He's a friend of ours.
Yes, he's inside right now, getting ready to start their meeting. Let's see. And the man pulls out a scroll of paper from his side, from his satchel, and he starts to unfurl it, and he looks at it, and he says, excuse me, may I have your all attention? Could the representatives from the Order of Orion please make your way to the audience chamber? And he's looking beyond all of you, scanning the crowd.
I think you're addressing us, sir.
My word. Really?
Well, yeah, that's us.
Let's see. And he begins scanning the scroll and looking at each of you. This all seems to be in order. Very well, you may head into the audience chamber. And he looks to the other gentleman, and they, the other gentleman who was holding his glaive diagonally in front of him to sort of block entry into the room, he now steps back, and the door opens, and you can see beyond the audience chamber, which is this wide circular dome chamber, and this ethereal blue and white light sparkles from what appears to be planetary objects, some sort of an illusion that cast off light above you. These planetary objects which are slowly moving. And the gentleman takes the scroll, rolls it up, puts it back into his satchel, and says, you may head in.
I'm gonna stare up at the planets in awe because I've never seen anything like that before. I'm standing still.
I'm gesturing the party ahead of me.
So he's gonna walk inside.
Okay. As you all begin hitting inside the chamber, do you all follow in, or are some of you staying behind?
Oh, and Lithana would follow. She'll kind of stagger in a bit.
Lithana, as you begin to stagger in, you see a gentleman wearing a crushed velvet suit with a cape and a wide-brimmed hat. And he's standing close to this semicircle of raised daises, these chairs that are raised up above you all. And there you can see individuals seated in each of them. And the gentleman in the crushed velvet suit is standing before them, and he turns and he looks at all of you, and it is your companion, Eli Stormbringer.
Lithana will go right up to Eli and kind of whisper in his ear with her alcohol breath and be like, Eli, Gunny needs a bath. Can you help?
Eli, you see your companions now gathered before you, slowly making their way into the chamber, and then the speed of rate of them moving within the chamber speeds up a bit as they each, one by one, begin to realize and recognize you.
Eli, I see your mic is on, but I can't hear you.
Are you having microphone problems, Eli?
Can you hear me?
Hey, there he is.
Now we can.
Gunny! Hey, everyone.
Hey.
Welcome. I'm gonna walk up to Gunny and shake his hand. While shaking his hand, I'll cast Prestidigitation. Much better.
Uh,
No. Oh, come in, join me.
you didn't let Lana, did you?
What, Gunny? Even
You didn't let Lasana, did you? We,
Oh no, I'm fine. She's like, too late.
Looks like both of you been drinking too much. Well, come in. Welcome, everyone. Glad you're here. Oh, Zito, buddy. Glad to see you again.
It's nice to see you too, Eli. What's with the getup?
Oh, you'll see. I have something special to show you.
Is it another hat?
Yes, it's a very fine hat. And I'll show you after this meeting what it means.
There's gonna be food and drink.
Oh, yes, of course.
Excellent.
You hear a bit of a throat clearing from one of the chairs. Excuse me. If you're all assembled, we can begin. Mr. Stormbringer.
Yes, we're ready.
Is your entire group here?
Eli looks around. Yeah, that's everyone.
Very well. Counselor Torn, if you will. And this older human gentleman who has been speaking at one of the chairs towards the center of the semicircle gestures, and at the base of the dais, you see what appears to be a mouse hole shaped opening, which suddenly expands out into an arch, and this bright white light begins to emit from it, and a shadowy figure begins to ascend what you assume is a set of stairs that appeared out of nowhere behind this arch. And you see a half-orc gentleman wearing vestments of a druid. And he steps forth. He's carrying a gnarled staff, which is nearly as tall as he is. He himself is imposing about it, sort of mid between Gunthrol's height and a little taller than Ender. And as he emerges from the arch, he stops and he looks at all of you and he says, "Good afternoon. I am Earl of Torn, and I represent the gatekeepers and House Thrashk. I imagine that you're all curious as to why you've been summoned before the Committee of the 12.
Yes, we are.
And the man looks over in your direction when he hears your voice. Sort of a look on his face of recognition. And he continues, he says, "Well, it has to do with some problems that have been brewing in the West. Are you familiar with the nation known as the Shadow Marches?"
I am.
I'm gonna remain quiet.
I've never been, but I've heard of it.
What trouble are you hearing about in the Shadow Marshes?
And he looks to you, Zito, and he says, "What's your name, sir?"
My name is Zito, sir.
Zito, yes. Spellcaster from the Order of Orion. I understand you are well versed in the ways of tinkering as an artificer.
So I am. I've actually been studying the nodes that have been around this land. I heard actually a team went missing in the Shadow Marshes not too long ago.
Yes, it's funny that you mention that. That's exactly why you've all been summoned here. Several of our people have gone missing in the Shadow Marches. They were, indeed, investigating the appearance of coterminous elemental nodes in the region. However, they have not been seen or heard from in several months. And communication with the Shogunate has broken down. And our enclave for House Tharashk has gone completely silent. We've had zero contact with any dragon-marked members within the region. I won't lie to you, this mission might be too much for even a group with your growing reputation. However, Mr. Stormbringer here and the Order of Orion have vouched for you all concerning this very serious task. And that is why we're having this conversation right now.
Oh no, nothing is too much for us. We can take them for sure. And she's like patting her fists on the table.
The half-orc gentleman looks in your direction, Lothana, and sort of crinkles his nose a bit, as if he's smelling something in the air. Anyways, we need a small group such as yourselves to infiltrate the city of Zarshak under the guise of an airborne delivery company. Once you have arrived in the city, you'll need to discreetly make your way to House Tharashk Enclave and establish contact with the Triumvirate. The Triumvirate are the leadership of House Tharashk, and they petitioned us to investigate the disappearances before all communication ceased.
Wait, stealthily? Why do we have to do it stealthily?
Discreetly.
I know how to get there. I've been to this.
Have you been there before?
I have, yes. It's the Shadow Marches are my homeland. I've not gone back in 2 years, but I know Zarashak.
Now, Inquisitive Kava Velderin of the Global Information Agency has gone ahead and prepared travel documents that will identify you all as working directly for House Lorandar, regardless of your status as dragon-marked individuals or not. Kava has informed us that the current leadership has suspended entry at the border, so air travel is the only way into the Shadow Marches that won't arouse suspicion. The Committee of the 12 have agreed to pay each of you 5,000 gold Galifars apiece, with half of the reward up front now. You'll receive the rest of your payment upon ascertaining the location of the missing dragon-marked members. If your reconnaissance mission turns into a rescue effort, the 12 is prepared to reward each of you with an additional 2,500 gold apiece. Now, we've already arranged for delivery from House Jarosco to be prepared for you all. You will be transporting many thousand pounds of materials and salves and potions from House Jarosco meant for the war effort within the Shadow Marches. All you need now is an airship, and I understand that Mr. Stormbringer has already acquired one for you all.
Wait, you acquired an airship?
Wait, what?
Yes,
Surely not Eli.
Don't worry, I have it covered. You'll see.
He did always tell us how rich and noble he was. I believe him.
By airship, do you mean flying carpet?
Yes.
Or solar sled?
Yeah, we're all gonna fit on my soul sled. It was a joke if you didn't know.
The half-orc druid now says, well, the Shogunate is expected to pay you 4,400 gold Galifars for delivery from House Jarosco. However, it is imperative that you get there as quickly as possible. If you delay, they will get suspicious, and they may very well shoot down whoever attempts to enter the nation by air.
All
So
right.
we leave in post haste.
Yes, I agree. We should probably leave.
And the half-orc raises a hand and taps his staff on the ground. And there's a resounding sound as it echoes throughout the chamber. And he says, "There is one last thing. You will all need a guide with extensive knowledge of the Shadow Marches and its culture. Those traveling within the nation are not protected by the Galifar Code of Justice. The folk of the Shadow Marches have a reputation for xenophobia, and outsiders are fairly rarely welcomed. Clan warlords are a proud people, and honor means everything to them. The most minuscule slight against any of the clans can earn you a death sentence, so be very careful how you act within the region. In the past year, the nation has been dealing with an increase in invaders from Droam. Shadow Marches are a rich country with dragon shard deposits, a very highly coveted resource. Perhaps you can reach out to the Shogunate in Zarashak and assist them with their issue. If your search, for some reason or the other, becomes a bit taxed or stale. I must warn you that we have heard that the leadership have put a travel ban on certain races crossing the borders. And any, if not all, non-orc races will have to surrender their travel documents at the border or within the city when you arrive by airship. And I would be very careful if you have any of you that are from House Tharask. I would be very careful bringing them with you.
House what?
Tharask.
I don't believe we have anyone from that house.
No, you do not have a representative with a mark of finding within your group?
Eli looks around. Do we?
What's the mark? I got some scars. Better get my mark.
Have you not heard of the dragon mark, my friend?
Do you mean? And I'm gonna point at Lithana's the side of her head that has the shaved part.
I'm afraid not. Dragon marks are physical manifestations of the draconic prophecy. They have appeared on 7 of Corvair's common races. They're a bit more intricate than a birthmark and more distinct than a tattoo, but resemble very much both.
So,
Go ahead, my
should be
dear.
fine? I don't think any of us have anything like that.
Wait, mine is just a tattoo that went on my head.
Yeah, and we could just put a hat on you if we needed to, if they were suspicious.
Very well. That seems like it is in order. I don't think that they will slight you for having a tattoo. Very well. Well, if there is nothing else, I wish you all the best of luck in your endeavors in this task. Very serious task before you.
Hungry.
And as you say that, do you say that out loud or do you mutter that?
I muttered. Someone was breathing in my face. Like, makes me hungry.
Okay. As you turn around, Gunther, you can see a banquet set forth off in one of the curved walls of the chamber. And you can see folk dressed up, holding platters, goblets of drink. You're not entirely sure what kind of drink, but they seem to be standing at attention, as if either to entertain or to administer these foodstuffs and food and drink to either yourselves or to the members of the committee.
Yeah, I think Gunny and I are both headed there right now.
Okay.
Beeline. We might knock over a couple people. It doesn't matter.
There's actually not very many people within the chamber at all. They're either assembled up on the dais or they are members of the staff. And
I eat that much food.
Okay. The gentleman, the half-orc now, looks to each of you, minus Gunthril and Ender, who have wandered off towards the food. And he says, "Is there anything else?"
That is it, I think. Anyone else have any questions?
None that I can
This is
think
free,
of.
right? Food's free, right?
Yes, please, help yourselves. It is near lunchtime.
We're just putting some in his bag and while he eats.
Okay. And the members of the committee, one by one, begin rising from their chairs and funneling out through connecting doors in the chamber. And the half-orc druid, he sort of leans on his staff for a moment and looks at all of you and then taps his staff again and begins heading towards that archway that he appeared out of. And as he passes through, you watch, if any of you are looking, the arch shrinks behind him back to the size of a mouse hole.
Cool.
And Eli, you would know that the vessel which the gentleman mentioned is currently assembled on one of the docking platforms here in the Tower of the 12.
Ah, yes. Everyone gather around. So, you heard him. He said we should leave pretty soon, so we either can leave first thing in the morning or head out tonight, but I know the crew is busy loading the shipments. What do you guys want to do?
Can we see it?
Oh, yes, you want to see it? Ah, follow me. And Eli will start walking towards the docks.
Okay. It takes a while. The tower is enormous, but you're able to guide your companions if they all follow with you. You make your way to a lift that brings you to a section of the tower which is reserved exclusively for House Lorandar, which is a private docking platform which extends out at different intervals around the edges of the tower. And I presume all of you are following the rest of the group?
Yes.
I'll bring a tray of food with me, yeah.
Okay. The man just sort of smiles at you as you take the tray off of his hand, and his smile turns to a look of concern and then confusion.
Yeah, Gunther, I don't think you're supposed to be taking the trays with you.
They didn't say anything to me.
And as you reach the large archway which opens up from the side of the tower and extends out into this large platform. You can see individuals milling about the platform, various races, some wearing traveling clothes. You can see off to your right on the side of the building, you can see a line of individuals that appear to be stopping at some sort of a counter. And you can see the crest of House Lorandar above that area. Seems to be some sort of a customs area for folks to check in and check out, so to speak. And on the edge of the Lorandar docking platform, you see a marvel of elemental engineering. A massive airship constructed of honey brown sorewood rests near the edge of the dock. The vessel is raised up higher than any other airship you've encountered before. You can see a raised windowed area which rests atop the forecastle at the bow of the vessel, connected to a large windowed tubular bridge which connects to another windowed upper edifice towards the stern. The elemental binding ring intensifies every so often, throwing off small little arcs of fiery plasma-like energy. And a level above the bottom of the vessel, you can see an open bay door close to the midship section, and an air skiff craft resembling a long rowboat is currently being secured with rigging just inside of the vessel within that opening. Another opening towards the bottom rear section of the airship, which is currently positioned right next to the edge of the docking platform, is abuzz with movement. And you can see a series of portable bridges which have been laid over the edge of the docking platform and constructing a sturdy flat surface to move folk and cargo in and out of the ship. And you can see what appears to be several warforged wearing uniforms that are currently loading wooden crates onto the vessel.
Eli,
you rented this?
No. This is heirloom from my family's. A gift from my father.
Your family's rich?
Yes. I mean, my father and mother have died, but the Stormbringer name is a noble name in House Leandar.
So you have been reminding us our entire adventure together so far. Does that mean could I get that 450 gold I paid you back?
You mean the one that you borrowed from me that you paid back? That
Yeah, I can get that back. You don't need it, obviously.
Damn, Ender, I thought he was lying. Rich.
Oh, well, I'm not that rich. See, my family doesn't... This is the only thing my family has left. That I have
Guys,
left.
remind me never to say I'm not that rich while standing in front of my huge airship.
I'll try not to, Ender.
Lithana would go up to Eli, and she'll kind of put the arm around his shoulder and said, "And lads, Eli, you don't have to read any more books. That's how you get a girl, right?"
Yeah, he looks at Gunny and smiles.
Man, he gets a ship and he gets the girl. Man, I thought drinking would be good. Man,
And then she belches in his face.
Well,
Near the bay door into that section of the ship, which is level with the docking platform, there is a shifter male wearing leather armor and a blue sash around his waist, and it looked like he was standing with his hands on his hips, occasionally gesturing towards the warforged that are milling on and off of the ship. And he suddenly turns and looks in the direction of your gathering, your group, and he says, "Captain! She is nearly ready to cast off. The crew have just about loaded up all the crates from the Jarasco Enclave. We're just awaiting your final orders."
I'll be right there. I'm coming. Alright, everyone, let's go.
First mate took the liberty of inquiring about delivery requests along the route to the marches.
Oh, he did? Oh,
Yes, he actually found a couple of jobs.
Oh, perfect.
While this is going on, I'm gonna look back at the party and say, Captain, it's gonna take me a little while to get used to it.
Oh,
Man, he's awful skinny though.
Eli turns around to the group. Look, guys. You guys are my family now, so we all own this. We're all together. It's our home now. I took the liberty to customize certain rooms for each of you. And Eli will start walking towards the ship.
Oh, I got a room on this thing.
Yes, Gunny. A bigger bed just to fit how tall you are.
Oh, in that case, you want a wing?
A bed?
So all of you are now heading towards this massive vessel.
You broke up there.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
I can hear you.
So you're all headed towards the vessel?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to see the shared living spaces and our bedrooms and.
As you get closer, the shifter male looks to you, Eli, and he says, First Mate Alro, he found 2 jobs. The first one is a cargo delivery to the from the University of Wynon for the Aldarian royal family in Fairhaven. And he also found a passage for 2 to Greenheart in the Eldine Reaches.
Oh, perfect. We'll have to plot our course. Do you know which one's the closest?
That would be Fairhaven, sir.
Alright.
Errol has already vetted each job. He says it will net 2,650 gold Galifars total. Fairly decent take.
Yes, plus the job for the 12. That'll put us a good load for our first mission.
That's what I was informed by the first mate, sir. The passengers are clearing the travel documents with the Lorandar Customs right now if you wish to speak to them before they embark.
Yes, I'll get to that. I'm going to show my friends here around the ship, and then looks like we can head off then, pretty much, after we get the passengers aboard.
Oh, of course, sir. Please don't let me hold you up at all, please. And he gestures towards the cargo bay, which appears to be the only entry at this level of the ship into the vessel.
Please, come aboard.
I'm gonna nudge Arion. It's okay, this one's not going to crash.
Are you sure there's no one dead on this one?
I'm fairly certain.
I mean, I don't
Well, I
wanna
haven't been on it
kill
yet.
any people, though.
Gunny, don't scare her.
Eli turns to Ari. It's okay. Remember, I've always been here for you. I wouldn't trick you. It's perfectly safe.
And don't worry, if there is some undead, don't worry, I've been practicing day and night shooting things, so I will just shoot it.
Yeah, I hope my room is next to yours.
And with that, I will share the first of several maps with you all.
All right, go ahead and check it out. Turn into your beautiful eagle and look at the whole.
I think I'll traverse it on the ground first, thank you.
Oh gosh, I'm sure Jeremy loves this part. Did you get to make this map yourself?
Out of game, Derek and I designed this together. Derek designed the ship, and I made it.
Yee.
One of my first, I shouldn't say my first experiences with Jeremy, but one of them, he'd bring in his airship and show it off to me. It was a big model. Oh, you guys, I'm sure. I think I told you guys about that before. That's the one that we crashed in his other campaign.
You mean the one that I brought to our first live game that I didn't get to use?
You brought that with?
Yeah, it was in the
Yeah,
box.
we saw it.
Oh.
No worries. So as you head on to within the bay doors, the wide bay doors, you see that the cargo hold of the ship is very large, with another presumably bay door on the opposite side, which is currently closed. It appears that on either side of the vessel, there's a cargo door, so that no matter which direction the ship approaches a dock, you're able to unload and offload and onload, so to speak. You can see now that there is some sort of a lift device, which is able to is currently being lowered back down, and you can see a duo of warforged individuals wearing uniforms, and they currently have these strange flat carts that they are maneuvering, and you can see now that they're maneuvering boxes, large crates on, and a few of them just sort of say, "Excuse me, pardon me," as they move past you down the cargo hold into the interior to drop off those crates. And the ship is open for you all to explore.
Eli will start walking this way. On your upper north side, there's stables for animals. If you ever have animals, you can bring aboard. You keep following me towards this part. Up both sides are freezers for food storage. This whole this whole deck right here pretty much is for cargo. We can fill this whole deck up with cargo. And yes, Gunny, lots of food just for you. All frozen.
Yeah, this one's mine.
I'm
Gunthrow, as you approach these metal doors, have these handles that are unlike any kind of a handle for a door you've ever seen before. It appears that when you pull on it, there's a bit of a pressure release, and a mist of cool air blasts you in the face, freezing air. And looking within, you just see racks and racks of meat and fish and all sorts of protein just laid about. Food stores that could feed a small army, presumably.
And that's not the best card, Gunny. See, I have a very good cook. I made sure to get one that you would like. Please, please, Gunny, come with me, everyone else. Come through these doors here.
And as you pass through the double doors, you see a series of staircases on either side, to your left, to your right, that appear to head upwards, and then another set of double doors in front of you.
Oh, come here. I'll open these doors up and walk in. This is where the crew stays, down here. Down below is an elevator up to the upper deck, or you could take the stairs, but the elevator is pretty cool.
Luthana is continuing to drink in the cargo hold by herself.
I just left her too, sorry. Sorry, Lathana, you're on your own.
No, I'm following, but before when we pass the animals, stables, she will pull out Humphrey and throw him on the ground. And
Okay. A large fly suddenly materializes from your small little figurine of power, and it sort of unfurls and flutters its wings. Bzz, bzz, bzz. This loud, guttural, throaty buzz, and it just looks at you quizzically with its multifaceted eyes through the bars of the door.
now, Humphrey, sit, stay.
And the giant horsefly sort of. It's not really. Its body is not really designed to sit, so to speak, in the way of what you would assume a mammal. It just sort of haunches down and does a few push-ups on its multi-segmented legs. Excuse me. And as you walk away, you just hear the sound of the wings fluttering behind you, Lithana. That familiar sound. You spent a lot of time with Humphrey figuring it out, getting used to him getting used to you, and you've formed a bond with him.
I see you found the stables. And that goes for anyone else. There's stables if you want to buy animals or whatnot. Or Ari if you want, shift into animals.
If Ari wants to sleep in the stables.
But I have a better room for you.
Oh, that would have been so funny. As we were walking past, we could make fun of Ari and say, "Oh, look, your room." Oh, too bad. Missed opportunity.
Oh, please, step on the elevator.
We just put her in a room with another person, come back and be arm missing.
So the elevator itself is wide enough that you can comfortably fit 4 people at a time on it.
Zito's
And a
small.
Zito?
And Zito. We'd say 4 people and a Zito.
Like how Zito has become a unit of measurement.
Can we squeeze 5?
So what you're saying is this is a 6 Zito elevator?
Yes. Please squeeze in.
So you're all heading up to the next level, minus Gunthrel and... Is that correct?
Yes, but I just disappeared as well.
Yes, I am moving you all to another map.
Zito just phased out of existence.
Hey, look, we can fit someone else in the elevator.
Throw some food in with the fly.
Be nice, Daddy.
It's ovipositor. You just see its bottom of his jaws split open, and you can just see jagged mandibles and a tube. It zips out and grabs the food out of midair, and is now chomping and crunching on it. And I will share another map with you all.
Sorry, guys. I did follow the group after my fly, so if not, it's fine.
That's okay. I can put you, the rest of you, back on this map now if you'd like.
Sure.
Okay. You know what? I'm gonna say Gunthrel and Luthana took the stairs. How about that?
Come this way. So, as you see, this side, this room right here, Zito, I was thinking would be perfect for you, as the up north part is a workshop. You can tinker and, create things or whatever you desire.
What, this room?
Yeah, that's a workshop that you just walked in, this whole area. And this room right here is the bedroom across the way. It is,
I even get my own bathroom.
Yep. But I figured you want to be close to the workshop, so, you in your late hours can do whatever. And we are just right up one level. If you follow me into this room right here, there's 2 air skiffs hanging from the ceiling.
Yep.
They are hanging from the ceiling. Oh.
Yes, as you pass through the double doors into this wide chamber, you can now see the chamber which you saw from below on the docking platform. You can see on this wide expanse, currently open on both sides, letting the air in. You can see those longboat-shaped air skiffs, which are currently being secured by Warforged.
They are hanging from the ceiling so that this can be reserved for sparring or practicing. You can set up targets and shoot in here or whatnot.
Sorry, were you guys talking to me? I cut out for like 20 seconds.
Oh, Eli was just talking about how badass his airship was.
It's
Are
the
we
pod.
flying right now? How high off the ground are we?
Well, the tower itself is, let's say I would say that the tower itself, at this height, you're about 1,500 feet up above the ground. So looking about, you can see the city, which is sort of a crescent-shaped smattering of buildings. You can see the Crown Home Palace in the distance. You can see the Karrn River. And you can just feel the breeze, the wind, which is whipping through this section of the ship with the bay doors open.
Don't you dare spit over the side, Ender.
I'm enjoying the view.
I wouldn't jump if I were you. It's very high.
I look back at Eli. I'm gonna say, I think this is my favorite place in the entire ship.
You haven't seen anything yet. Please, please. We can continue. Eli will open these doors and walk them through. This is more cargo space, so there's 2 decks just full designated to cargo. So that we can make some extra, side money. Plus to keep the airship afloat, It does cost a lot of coin.
And as Eli begins gesturing towards the rear of this upper section of the cargo hold, you can all feel the thrumming power coming from within a chamber behind you all. This centralized chamber, this door, beyond that door, you can see a circular glass opening at the center of the door. And looking through it, you see another chamber beyond with another glass aperture. As something is glowing within. This brilliant magenta light which spills out and fills the chamber with beyond it.
So those are the cargo hold. We got to go back to the elevator. That elevator only goes down 1 and up. He kind of points at this elevator right here. This is for just a cargo hold.
Eli steps forth, and as he steps onto the elevator begins to go down. And you all watch as Eli slowly begins to lower out of sight back to the cargo hold below. And you hear someone below yell out, "Oh, sorry, sir!"
Oh,
and there's a sound of machinery, like a switch flipping. And Eli begins ascending again. He had nearly gone to about chest height, and now the elevator moves back up, and he is and seats itself on this level of the ship.
See, like that. Please, now come back with me to the other elevator and the stairs. But yes, this right here where I am, that is the chamber of the elemental. Oh, I should probably explain what those are. Those are guns. Hidden inside.
So as Auri is exploring one of the narrow doors, opens into a chamber, and you see a large, some sort of weapon system. Unlike anything you've ever seen, it sort of resembles a cannon from a ship. And it appears to be resting on some sort of a platform.
I just kind of poke it and then slowly back away and close the door behind me.
Okay. As you poke it, the platform begins to raise up with you on it. And Auri, in almost a matter of 6 seconds, this platform shoots you up into the... No, I'm sorry. I'm just kidding.
Oh, God.
I'm kidding. So you're taking the elevator up to the next level above?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. You all hear the hiss of the elevator as it begins to move. One after another, you find yourselves on yet another level of this massive airship.
How many levels are there?
Oh, there are 5.
Whoa!
But don't worry, it's not too big.
So as you all step off of the elevator, you see an elven woman who has just disappeared into a door. She opens a door and sees you all stepping off of the elevator through the double doors, and she goes, "Oh, excuse me, sir, Captain. I apologize. I was just tending to the inventory, the healing bombs."
Oh, no worries.
I understand that we just received more cargo for our maiden delivery.
Yes, we have.
Well, that is very exciting. But what are my manners? Please, my name is Leah Bix. I am the ship's surgeon. If for any reason you have an ailment or an injury, I can potentially assist you if needed.
Why, thank you. Just showing my friends around.
And the elven woman just sort of nervously nods to each of you and then disappears through the door into this study-like library chamber.
Please, come out. Up there is the library. And this deck is full of...
You pass through the door and you accidentally run right into Leah, and she drops a a handful of glass bottles, and they shatter on the deck below. And she says, "Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry." And she immediately drops down to her knees and begins attempting to clean it up.
"Oh no, I'm sorry." And
It is my fault. I am so sorry. I am such butterfingers. Please don't tell the captain.
"Oh, of course not. Here, please let me help."
Eli, what's your passive perception?
10.
10. You didn't hear anything.
Alright. Well, I see that Ari went ahead into the library. Down below here this is storage. And out here he opens the door.
As you open the door, there's a pneumatic hissing noise, is pressurization, and you can all feel the brisk wind which is blowing in, and you can see open air as this section, this sort of a triangular pyramidal shape, opens up, and you can see a metal platform which is sunk into the deck, and it appears to have some sort of a closed series, like a trapdoor system of some sort. And then Ender flies off the edge of the map. Bye, Ender.
No.
Bye.
What did he do?
So this is the outside. One cool thing about this ship, it's a discreet, wink wink, cargo ship, so that all of the guns are hidden below deck, and they come up topside.
While you were gone, Ender, you went on a little flight around the outside of the ship.
Oh, was he flying?
I assume, because otherwise he was falling to his death.
I don't know what you guys are talking about. I was here the whole time.
Please. Come
Zito,
with me.
Zito, as you peer over the edge of the landing, you can see the monolithic tower of the 12 to the side of the airship. and you can see far, far below. You see the ancient city of Korth.
Seal gets vertigo, and then he's gonna go back inside.
Okay.
These are all rooms. You guys can all choose where you want to sleep.
Ooh.
Each room is up for grabs.
And
Or Zito, if you don't like your room down below, you can choose one up here too. But, you know, I figured you might plan to be close to the workshop. I hope that's okay.
And towards
That's
the midship, there you see a couple series of double doors, southern part of the ship, and you can hear the sounds of metal clanging, and you can hear a diminutive sounding voice as something metal hits a surface, and you just hear someone shouting. And I'll whisper in I will mention in the chat what you hear. We'll see if anybody hears it. And Auri and Zito, you just heard someone yell in Gnomish that. And
I'm gonna poke my head out and see if I can figure out where it came from.
it came from midship somewhere. I assume that you were continuing to travel with your companions if you were done with Leah.
As long as I had enough time to help her clean up.
Absolutely, it was a couple of bottles, enough that it just took you a couple of minutes, and that was more than enough time to clean up while the rest of your companions were busy elsewhere.
Now Ari goes and tattletales on her.
No.
So you determine the sound coming from the midship, a large chamber, and you watch as Zito disappears through these double doors. And there is this, immediately your senses are assaulted by the smell of cooking meat and the smell of other foods and spices in the air, which wafts out through the double doors and fills this 10-foot wide corridor.
Gunny! Where you at, Gunny? I have your favorite room ahead.
And as you enter into the chamber, you can see a gnomish person who is currently standing on top of a stool, and he is passing his hands over a table, which is set out with food of various types. And as soon as you all enter into the chamber, this gnomish person looks up, and he has this fiery pink hair which extends out and around his jowls into a bushy beard. No mustache. It's fiery pink. And he's currently wearing an apron, and he has some sort of a foppish looking hat, which is covering most of his hair, but can't quite contain this mane. And he looks and he says, "Ah, Captain!"
Ah, yes.
"Are you here to inspect the foodstuffs?"
Yes, I have my inspector right here. Gunny!
Gunther, as you enter into the chamber, you see this tiny little gnome who is busy preparing a feast. And the gentleman says, "Dinner will be served this evening at 6 p.m. sharp, as per the captain's edict."
Ah, yes. But Gunny, you can have a little taste. Is that alright? I hope we're not
That's
intruding.
perfectly all right. This is your ship, after all. I'm just the cook.
Does he look excited like to feed us?
Does he look excited?
Yeah. The little gnome dude.
He looks sweaty, as if the steam and heat from his ovens are keeping him. It looks like he's been working hard for a while, but as excited as he is to see you all in the kitchen and to see his captain, he's very much so like this is very much routine for him. Someone coming in to check on his kitchen, so he's not really too excitable of you all being within this kitchen right now.
I'll take a bite of some type of meat.
Okay. As you reach out, there is a haunch of some sort of a boar meat, and it has a caramelized texture to the outside of it, like it's been rolled in something, some sort of a sugary, powdery sugar that has then been melted with heat, and it's almost like a layer of candy on the meat. And when you bite into it, there's a loud crunching noise, and the meat is very, very moist. I apologize for the ladies who hate that word. Not everyone likes that word. It's tender. It is delicious. And your senses
Moist.
that'll be enough out of you. Your senses are assaulted by just how wonderful this meat is. It is the most delicious meat you have ever eaten. And he looks at you, and he's standing on his little stool, and he's looking at you with his hands crossed, with a pensive look on his face, like he's waiting for a reaction from you.
Tastes like street rat, I think. Not bad, little man. Little
he
dry.
just says, "Oh," he sort of blusters and says, "Street rats? Not in my kitchen."
Oh, he's joking. He's joking.
And
he loves it.
And he was reaching with one of his hands towards the table to grab a rolling pin, as you were saying that, Eli. And then he just sort of has it casually listing on the side, and he says, "If there's anything else that you'd like to try, I have soup. I have a wonderful lentil soup that perhaps your half-elven mistress would be interested in."
After I take a little nibble off of it, I just drop it on the ground. Maybe like.
And he just sort of scoffs like, "Oh, how dare you!" And he immediately hops off of the stool and begins grabbing the meat and picking it up, and just sort of looks at it with this wistful look in his eye, like he's about to cry. And he looks at each of you and he says, "I'm afraid boar is off the menu tonight," and he tosses it into the garbage.
Lisana would go up, and she reacting to a gun throw, plus she's still a little drunk. She very exaggerated, like,
Lathana, make a Constitution saving throw. Let's see how drunk you are.
okay.
Oh yeah, Lathana, you go to gesture and you trip over. Your leg hooks into the stool that the gnomish cook was standing on, and you trip and fall on your face flat, nearly hitting your chin, striking it on the long table.
I'm gonna run over and try and help her up.
I will attempt to get up, and I'm like, let me taste the boar. I want the boar. I want it. I want.
I'm so sorry. Excuse my friend Gunny. See, he just eats anything. We won't disturb you any longer. All right, everyone, let's get out of here.
No, I must try the boar. I must make him feel better.
No, it's okay, Lathana. It's okay. Is your face okay?
Oh, my face is fine, but I need the boar.
We'll make him feel better later. Let's just follow the rest of the group, okay? I'm gonna support her with my arm as we walk down.
Okay. All right. So, as you all head out of the kitchen, the midship level of this part of the ship, Eli gestures towards the stern of the ship, heading through a series of double doors.
Please, come with me.
And after passing through this trio of double doors, you find yourselves in a large, open-air section of the ship, which is filled with plush couches, or plush chairs, and tables, and stools. And you can see there are large windows up each side, rising up to another level just above. And of course, in front of you, you see a small water-filled structure. This square-shaped structure that looks a little strange to you. It almost looks like someone put a pond on the ship. And as you peer over the edge of this raised stone lip around this, you can see now that the water appears to be deeper than you would expect, considering the level below it was a cargo hold. You did not see that structure below. Nothing protruding from the ceiling.
Welcome to the lounge. And it is heated as well, if you guys like to swim.
Nope.
Oh, that's like taking a bath.
Hey, Eli. Do you think now would be a good time for me to go swimming? Yeah.
No.
Lithana starts pulling her breastplate armor off. She's hopping on one foot, trying to take a boot off.
I'm gonna try and
Oh, no,
stop
let her.
her.
Well, hold on. We want to see the rest of the ship. There's not much left, but and then you can go to your room and relax, and as we embark.
We'll swim together later.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Follow.
peering into this 20 foot by 20 foot pond, which seems much deeper than it looked at first. You can see what appears to be glowing fish that are swimming below the surface, and they get larger as they get closer to the surface. And as they get to the top, as they appear to be reacting to all of you standing over the edge of the lip, they all sort of gather and sort of sway in an S pattern closer to the edge of the stone lip. And as their faces get to the surface of the water, you can just see their mouths just sort of slowly undulating, opening and closing. These glowing fish. They're about the size of your forearm.
They're taunting
I'm looking
me.
at them down there, but I'm also like soccer mom save with my arm in front of Lithana so that if she's bending over to look in, I catch her.
Okay. Lithana, are you bending over to look in?
Yeah, I am.
Make a dexterity saving throw.
Okay.
Or no,
I would like
excuse
to
me.
make a strength check.
Make
Push her.
a dexterity check. Oh, you're pushing her?
No, I won't.
Okay.
I really want to.
Yeah, make a dexterity check. There you go. So Lithana nearly, her hand sort of slips on the edge of the stone basin, which was a little wet from some water that was splashed from the tails of one of these weird ethereal fish. And your arm like splashes into the water for a split second. You almost tumbled all the way through. And as it goes into the water, temporarily, you suddenly feel a sensation of dozens of kisses on your skin as these fish are sort of softly suckering and like you're testing to see if your arm is food.
Don't worry, they don't bite. They just clean the pool.
Oh, hey guys. How's it going? My fish, my peep.
And for transparency's sake, out of game, they resemble koi fish. You know how koi all come to the surface and gather when they sense that there's people nearby who feed them?
Pretty cool, right?
He tries to kiss a fish back.
The fish is one of the fish is like continuing to like if your arm is still in the water, it's continuing to sort of nom on your arm, like not doing anything to you. And are you all continuing to watch this strange exchange between Lithana and a giant glowing fish?
Oh, Lithana, if you're done, I could show you the the finish showing you around.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. I keep wasting time. Sorry, I just had a rough 3 weeks. Okay, yeah. What's next? What's next?
Oh, this way. Please follow me.
I would like to remind Eli that there are 2 elevators on this level of the lounge. Currently, they are ascended to the level above. There's a balcony above that stretches around in sort of a U shape.
Yes. I'm gonna take this one.
Okay.
Ender. Oh, did we lose Ender? Did he find his way outside?
Oh.
So
Again.
sorry. I was
Opening
looking at my
pop.
character sheet. My
So-
bad. My bad.
So Eli, as you head into this chamber, you see a note that says "out of order" on the wall.
Oh. I guess we'll get that fixed. Please, come back with me. We'll have to take the elevator in here. Where's the button on the wall to bring the elevator down?
There is a section which, if you press your hand on the wall, they are summoned.
Yeah.
Okay. And one by one, you can all travel within the elevator. Well, I should say you can take either side. There's one on each one. Unfortunately for you, each of these elevators are a single person each.
How many Zetos is that?
That's a couple
An
of
Ari and
Zetos.
a Zito could probably fit together.
That's like a couple of Zetos max. And I will share another map with you all. The elevators, which resemble small lifts, they bring you up to a balcony section of this part of the vessel. And it stretches around this glass windowed in structure, which extends up. You can still see below you the lounge. You can see the pool. You can see the fish now, which are still glowing, dispersing. It takes you up a bit of ways, about 10 feet up in the air, and then you find yourselves, or between 8 and 10 feet, you find yourselves on these this sort of metal scaffolding, which stretches around with a short safety railing, which extends all the way around, except for the open areas where the lifts raise up and lower. And you say a series of double doors.
Oh, please, come with me.
And Guthrie, as you pass through the double doors, you can see now that there is a thick cylinder which stretches up from this circular chamber and goes up into the ceiling above and passes through the domed ceiling. And beyond that, you can see a 10-foot wide corridor with windows on each side, which stretches off towards a series of double doors.
Please, this way. Come through here. This is the war room, I like to call it. But it is our gathering, where we all meet and have a seat and discuss whatever we need to discuss as a group. And where we eat too, you know. This is probably your other favorite room, Gunny. This is where dinner will be served tonight.
Okay.
And as you enter into the chamber, you see a long glass table, which is separated by some sort of a strange circular view screen. And on the view screen, you can see a topographical map of the continent of Korth. And you can see an indicator which is currently flashing over the nation of Karrnath. And there are sort of a shining mithril goblets which are placed in front of each of the chairs at the table.
Ah, yes. Gunny, here's, I think, one of your favorite parts. Pick up the gauntlet and think about what you want to drink.
Okay.
As you raise the goblet up to in your hand, up to your face, Gunthral, whatever liquid that you were thinking of at the time suddenly begins to manifest within the goblet, filling to the top.
Keep that away from Athana.
I drink it. Does it taste like it?
It tastes like whatever liquid you want.
All right.
I hope you like it. I thought of you guys.
Latana staggers over to Eli and she's like, "You're the best guy ever."
Oh, maybe you should have a regular cup of water.
I mean, like, no. I mean, all of this is it's just so good. And then she just kind of puts her head on the.
Oh, well, there's one last thing to show you. Where you'll be seeing me, or if you ever need to get a hold of me, where I'll mostly be. Please come.
And as Eli leads you out of the war room, he leads you to a single door which leads into a chamber with another elevator, which takes you up to the very top of this vessel, the wheelhouse.
Come. This way. Welcome to the bridge. I lean around the corner and.
As you pass through the double doors, you find an amalgamation of metal and sorewood, and you can see a series of strange arcane devices and view screens which are stretched out in sort of a half octagonal shape. And you can see now the front of this chamber, which is opened up with a many-faceted window, which gives you all a view of the horizon beyond. And you can see beyond the edge of the towering edifice of the Tower of the 12, you can see blue skies, clouds in the distance, wispy. You can see the crescent-shaped city stretched out before you, the Palace of Crownholm on the edge of the Karn River. There is a central platform that's raised up a little bit at the center of the bridge, with a series of more of these strange view screens. And you can see a modified ship's wheel, which sits at the center of it. Not unlike a ship's wheel that you would see on a sailing vessel. But this one is a bit more elaborate, and sections of it appear to be made of what looks like glass or crystal. And you can see a arcane energy which seems to extend out from the center of this focusing crystal at the center of this spinning wheel. The spokes which radiate out from it. And you can see that amethyst amber glow, mix of various colors which sort of illuminate a dim light out from it, about 5 feet. And you can also see rows of cabinets, and you can see rows of more seating, which are along the walls, of course. The ones on the walls actually seem to have some sort of a harness, as if you could sit down in it and you can strap yourself down if you wish to do so.
Welcome aboard the New Horizon.
And as Eli says that, a gentleman appears from another series of double doors from behind you and steps onto the bridge. And the gentleman steps forth, appears to be a Korvar, a half-elf. And he says, "Ah, sir, I was wondering when you'd come back. How are you faring?"
Good, good. I brought the rest of my friends along.
The folk that you haven't stopped talking about since you and I reconnected on the ship.
Yes.
He says, he looks to each of you and he says, "My name is Elro Holimian. I am the first mate of this vessel."
He is our pilot.
Yes, when the captain is not commanding the vessel, I will be in charge of maneuvering you all to safety. I assume that you've already connected, Captain, with our bosun Gripjaw down below.
Yes, I think so.
He told you about the additional jobs that we took on.
Oh, yes, I have.
I've just been informed that the cargo has already been loaded, and the 2 passengers have already embarked. I guess they got tired of waiting, or one of them got tired of waiting to speak to you, and they've already embarked on the ship. And we're ready to cast off.
Well, set a course.
First course set is Fairhaven, I believe.
Yes, Fairhaven. And embark. Let's get this ship on the road.
And he moves past you, each of you giving you a warm smile. This man who is wearing a very simple garb. He's wearing suspenders over a white shirt. His ears are pointed but somewhat rounded, like a Korvar, a half-elf. His face is clean-shaven, and he is wearing these sort of a forest green plaid material pants. And he's wearing boots with little silver tips on the end of them. He steps forth and he sits down into the chair in this elevated platform in the center of the bridge, and he sort of runs his hand over the controls. And as he does so, he, with his other hand, he begins to roll up the sleeve of his white shirt. And as he does so, it exposes a crisscross pattern of this prismatic colored pattern of resembles a tattoo, and it starts to shimmer and glow. It gives off a dim light off of his skin, and the glass crystal ship's wheel sort of chimes in time with it. You can almost hear the sound of a tinkling of glass, like crystal brushing against, like a crystal chandelier. And he grabs the ship's wheel and begins rotating it, and you can all feel in your legs the deck below your feet now lurches as the ship begins to move away from the docking platform on the side of the Tower of the 12. Captain, you can go about your business. I'll take care of this. If there's anything that any of you need, please grab one of the at various points within the ship. There are sending stones. If you wish to speak to anyone on any of the levels of the ship, you can just grab one and talk to us. I believe the quartermaster and the bosun have the 2 other sets that you acquired for us, and I am currently holding on to the 3rd set of the other half of the sending stone.
Thank you, sir. Everything seems to be in order.
So all this formality. You haven't changed one bit, Eli.
No, I haven't. Like the good old days when we both flew together.
I don't know how.
House Leandar.
I think your memory is a bit short, my friend. It wasn't exactly that good.
That is true. I hope better days are ahead.
Well, if you're traveling with me now, my friend, and you seem to have quite the crew that you've assembled beyond the airship.
Yes. Well, I want to let everyone know the airship is free reign. You are at my authority. All of you are family. Welcome aboard, everyone.
And with that, the half-elven man Elro, sort of his attention drifts after he looks at each of you, sort of sizing each one of you up, a warm smile on his face, and his attention drifts to the horizon in front of him as he continues to manipulate the ship's wheel and plots the course for the new horizon to the nation of Onder, the city of Fairhaven. As Gunthral goes through the double doors into the captain's quarters.
Oh, welcome.
Gunthral, as you go past through the double doors, you see a swanky, strange amalgamation of what appears to be a bedroom, a bathroom, and an office, and some sort of lounge. You see a series of bookshelves. You see a nice wide plush couch. You see some sort of a chair that seems to have an extender on it, so if you sat down and reclined, it would prop up your feet for you. You see a private shower, or I should say shower. You see some sort of a boxy 5 foot by 5 foot stall, and as you get closer to it, it almost seems to sense your presence. Suddenly, warm water begins spraying out of, and as you watch Ender step into it, you see Ender get sprayed with warm water, soaking him and his armor. As Ender continues to take a shower and his armor. Zito, you running your hands along the okay. Good to know. As Gunthral passes by Lithana, that horrible feeling of nausea and that headache suddenly passes, and your senses are clear once again. A bit clearer than they have been in quite some time. You watch as Ender suddenly runs full speed in his wet armor and jumps into the double-wide bed.
Clean sheets.
And as you do so, Ender, as you sit down, there is a strange hissing noise. Sort of like a pneumatic hiss. And you watch as this orb, which is attached to the wall, suddenly pops out of the wall, drops onto the ground, and begins unfolding itself. And it transforms itself into a warforged the size of Zito. And you hear this diminutive voice say, Axar 1, activated! And this little warforged, its hands on its hips, it begins looking around at all of you and sort of sizing each one of you up.
What is this, Eli?
This is a warforge I guess my father left behind.
Captain Baldwin, you have returned!
Yes, I have. He doesn't realize my father's dead.
Captain! And this little warforged starts walking forward towards you, Ender, and you watch as it reaches into its chest and pulls out a bundle of cloth, and it begins drying you off. Very wet, very wet. Clean, dry. You'll need to take this off. And he begins undoing the snaps on your leg armor and pulling your armor off of you, Ender. If you allow him to, he pulls He pulls off the entire section of your armor that covers your shin, and he
Okay.
pulls it off, and he's holding it up with one hand, and he just sort of shakes it like he's shaking out a rug, and it's sort of
Or a Polaroid picture.
Yes, it sort of clatters against the deck a little bit. Oh, this is a mess, such a mess, and he continues to shake it out. Oh, this is a mess, I need help. And there's another pneumatic hissing noise, and the other round device pops down, and an identical miniature warforge unfurls itself from the sphere. XR2 at your service, Captain Thorwin. Hello. Good to see you again.
Yes, thank you.
Oh my, that's a mess. And it sort of runs forth. You hear the sound of its feet as it across the deck runs forth and then pulls another bundle of cloth out of its chest compartment, and it begins to run up the side of your body, Ender, and is now standing on your shoulder, and it is taking each end of the cloth in each little hand, and it just starts shining the top of your head. It's sort of like, oh, such a mess, such a mess. And this continues on for a few minutes if you allow it, Ender, and eventually you are completely dry. And once they're done, the two little miniature warforged, they stop and line up next to each other, click their heels together, and they say, "We are here to serve, Captain Theowin." And they bow, and they continue to bow, and they don't rise up. Heads down, eyes towards the deck. Their arms, mirrored image, stretched out like a flying V behind them. And they just stay that way. Unmoving.
Thank you. You can deactivate.
And then you hear sort of a pneumatic. Very well. We come when called. And the two little warforged now sort of unfurl out like a cobra, right? Rearing back, and then spin forward and move forward a couple of inches, and both turn into orbs, and they snake across the floor and then up the side of the wall back into the holders on either side of the bed.
Well,
Neat.
thanks
Does each
for.
room have one of those?
No, not each room. Sorry, my father just made it for this chamber. He was the captain of this vessel, but like I said, he died before it was complete.
Zito
How's
has,
he pass, Eli?
Zito has been, presumably, inspecting the bookshelves. Zito, you see just tome after tome of books that you've only heard of, but you've never seen. Entire histories.
What are these books about?
You see entire histories of civilization from across Eberron. You see tomes that appear to be written in all sorts of languages. Some lost languages. You see what you presume to be the language of the giants. These big, thick tomes that are almost as tall as you are. These books that are set on one level of this bookshelf in front of you is a bit taller, like the shelf has been recessed down just to fit these tomes, and you see a series of them. The edges of the pages are sort of a silver filigree color, and they appear quite old.
You can borrow any books you want. These are all my father's. Same thing with the library downstairs. He had them all installed.
If you say so. Zito's gonna open up his bag and he's gonna take 3 books and he's gonna put them right in.
Okay, you take volumes 1 through 3. And you're not quite sure, unless you understand giant, you're not really sure what they are called.
Let's see. I understand Dwarvish.
Yeah, they're not written in Dwarvish. This appears to be some sort of a giant script of some species of giant. You're not entirely sure which.
Yeah, I'll figure it out.
Okay. There's like a sort of like an embossed runes on the cover and a giant script of some sort.
Oh, you can read Dradenari?
Ari just sort of glides up next to you, Zito, as you are handling one of these tomes, which is impressive how thick this book is, and yet you're still able to manipulate it somewhat. It takes you a little while, but you've been very carefully placing them into your bag of holding.
Huh. I didn't know you read as well. Do you like books?
I love books. I read every single one in my library maybe 4 times over. I don't know. I was there for a long time.
Oh, well, you have all of you can read as much as you want. Feel free to take any, just please return them.
Of course.
Lethana taps Eli on the shoulder.
Ah, yes. Welcome aboard, Lathana, and he smiles.
I must apologize for my behavior earlier. Gunny helped me a bit. I'm sorry, my breath still stinks. It's bad. But thank you so much for all this. It's beautiful.
Of course, you all are my families. I'm glad to share. I think of this as our home. I hope you guys as well.
And when he says home, she kind of... This look of relief goes over her face. And she's like, well, that's good, because the last 3 weeks I pretty much found out I don't have a home anymore. So... It's good to have a place to lay your head.
Yes, it's good for anyone here. We're all family. Like I said, I hope you choose your room. I heard they're gonna go quick. But, you can always join me up here whenever you want. Eli smiles.
She looks at him like, oh yeah, what I meant earlier was, other than just reading books, like having an airship is a good way to get a girl in general. You know.
Oh yes, I mean, if you ever needed to talk to me, you can come here and talk to me. That's what I meant. He kind of looks kind of sad.
There is an audible clicking noise, and then over some sort of a loudspeaker, which seems to emanate from these gratings on either side of the double doors, close to where the Everlight lanterns are illuminating within the chamber. And you hear a familiar sound of the quartermaster, grimly, Eli. And he says, Captain, there's some foppish prick down here who wants to speak to you. Says he wants to shake the hand of the captain of the vessel.
Yes, I'll be right there.
Okay.
Well, if you guys want to come with me, we can meet our passengers. Remember, we're all in this together.
Oh, I love meeting foppish pricks. Usually I get to shoot them.
Yeah, about that. Remember, they pay good coin to be aboard.
Oh, right. I will protect them. That's what I meant.
Yes. Please, this way. Oh, wait, this is the only way up here, so just so you know, only special people have access. So don't make sure you don't give the code out to everybody. Just keep it to yourselves. Thank you.
So as you head down one by one down through the into the bowels of the ship, down from the wheelhouse onto the command deck, and you can see every so often as you turn a corner, you see a warforged who nods politely to each of you as you pass. They seem to be just milling about, doing their tasks, their menial tasks aboard the ship now that you have embarked into the air, heading away from Korth. And eventually you all make your way down, back down to the lounge level of the ship. And I will place you all back onto that map. If you like, I will share it again with you guys.
Yes, please.
Alright. So as you pass into this section of the ship, and you see a couple of individuals. One of them is sitting in a chair, and he's just sort of beaming, grinning ear to ear. He has a mustache and goatee. He's wearing sort of a poofy white and red linen colored hat. His clothing is a bit loose, especially around the shoulders. They sort of poof out. And he's wearing trousers that end at the knees with long socks and these pointed boots. And he was sitting, and as soon as he sees you all one by one descending or passing through the series of double doors onto the lounge level, he says, "Well, hello there! Greetings! Lovely to meet you all!" And he looks to you, Eli, and he says, he reaches his hand out to shake your hand. He says, "I assume you're the captain?"
Yes, I'm the captain of this vessel. These are my friends. We're all family. We all take part ownership of the ship.
Lovely to meet you. I love a family organization. That is wonderful. My name is Volathampt Gadam.
Welcome aboard, Volafant.
Thank you. To be perfectly honest, I was shocked that I could, while I was staying here at the Tower of the 12 and talking to a few individuals that I know here, I was shocked that there was actually a vessel here, and that just perfect timing that I could gain passage. I'd appreciate that so very much.
Yes, yeah, we're excited to have you aboard.
And
We're just
it's
starting out.
I understand it is your maiden voyage. That is what the customs said.
Yes, this is our first
That is
trip.
Wonderful. Perhaps your vessel will make it into my book then. That is wonderful. And we are on our way towards the Eldian Reaches, correct?
Yes, we are.
It's astonishing. Greenheart. That is the capital. Is of course the Eldian Reaches, and that is of course my destination. But you knew that, of course. You're the captain. Your folks, your first mate, and your quartermaster said that you were very well versed with the cities and the nations all around. Of course, you should be if you're a captain of your very own vessel.
Yes, I am. In fact, I think we're heading there first.
And he looks beyond you now, and you said, "What? This must be your family, as you stated." And he begins walking up to it and very emphatically and enthusiastically reaching out and shaking each of your hands, if you allow it to do so. And as he does so, he continues to talk. What's that? What's that, Zioto?
I thought you said it.
No, he's reaching for your hands to shake your hands.
Oh.
He's not shaking your heads. So as he's continuing to walk to each of you and shaking your hands, he's continuing to say, "Have you ever been to the Eldian Reaches? It's a wonderful place. It's mostly forest from border to border." And he looks at each of you, just sort of beaming, continuing to grin ear from ear. And if you would adjust your attention away from him, you can see now the second passenger. This individual who appears to be wearing some sort of ornate breastplate with colorful garb over the breastplate. And it appears to resemble that of an entertainer. The individual is wearing a hood over their head, and they have some sort of a mask affixed over their face. And the mask has sort of a strange expression, not unlike the mask that you would see at a theater. The traditional comedy, tragedy masks, and this third one being sort of a stern, almost an angry expression. And I will share an image. And the gentleman who referred to himself as Volothamp, Volo to his friends, says, "Oh, I'm being so very rude. Please, M, if you would be so kind as to say hello." And this individual silently regards all of you and then bows. Sort of a short bow, not a deep bow. And raises itself back up, looking to each of you. Does not remove the mask.
I bow as well.
To reveal itself. And you can see two more masks on their hip. That one resembling sort of a joyful expression, the other one a forlorn expression, with a very carefully dark blue, almost purple teardrop which is painted onto the surface of this mask. And the individual continues to stay silent, not saying a word. And you can see that on either side of this individual's hips, you see two sheaths with short swords, which are currently sheathed on either side. And they have sort of an elaborate crisscross pattern of colored thread, which sort of creates like a tapestry of what appears to look like embroidered flowers along the sheath.
Question.
Who are you speaking to?
To the DM. She would like to see whether she can tell if it's a construct or not. She is proficient in knowing what constructs are in general.
Is that just an ability?
It's a part of her favored enemy.
Would you mind reading that out to me?
Sure. I have significant experience studying, tracking, hunting, and talking to a certain kind of enemy.
Okay. Well, then in that case, make a perception check.
Okay.
As you begin to look at this individual, taking in their very colorful garb, this almost strange Harlequin style getup. And the individual is, for all you can tell, they don't appear to be giving off the sort of stiff, herky-jerky mannerisms of a construct. You do not believe this is a construct.
Okay.
But as you're looking at this individual, their head is angled straight at you, as if they're looking at you. And it, just for a few moments, continues to be angled at you, and then the head starts to turn, as if it's sort of like taking in the rest of the chamber of this lounge, occasionally scanning the room. You're not sure if this person is looking at your companions or if they're just taking in this chamber. And then Vola says, "Oh, I must apologize for my silent companion. Im is a mute. She only, she prefers to use sign language and hand signals. I hope that is not a problem to you all."
Oh, no, nothing. No problem at all. Welcome aboard.
She's been my traveling companion as I've been traveling across the continent of Korth. She's quite deadly with the blade, so if for some reason we were to come into some sort of trouble while in the air, I'm sure that she'd be more than happy to lend a helping hand in fending off any incursions or rabble or creatures.
Oh, no worries at all, but we here at the New Horizon Corporation pride ourselves in security. We have 4 guards.
As you say that, you all hear metal on metal sound from above, and as you all one at a time begin looking up to the railing above, you see a gentleman who is wearing breastplate armor, and he is resting his ring on the metal scaffolding, this safety rail, and he says, "Captain Stormbringer?"
Yes.
And this is, of course, you would know, Eli, this is Bertram.
Oh, yes, Bertram. How can I help you?
Everything in order down here?
Yes, it is. We're just talking to our new guest.
Oh, very well. Well, I won't keep you. If you need me, I will be making my rounds on the ship.
No worries at all. I'll turn to their group and be like, "Oh, yes, I forgot to tell you, we have 4 guards. They stay on the ship and just protect the cargo, but don't mind them. They're here to protect us."
And with that, Volo and this mysterious harlequin called M just sort of drift away from you all after a few moments. So this Volo continues to enthusiastically greet you all. It almost seems like he keeps forgetting that he's greeted you. So he shakes each of your hands at least 3 times before he drifts away and begins to rest into one of the plush chairs on this level of the deck. M just sort of wanders off and with almost like a cat's-like grace saunters away from all of you.
Well, any questions?
When do we leave?
Oh, we are already on our way. Jeremy,
We
how
missed
long?
the waving ceremony?
Oh, we're in flight already?
Yes, we are.
Yeah, that feeling that I described of the deck somewhat vibrating and lurching, that was the New Horizon sort of embarking away from the Lorandar docking platform and moving away towards the west, away from Korth, away from Karrnath.
Cool.
And I'm sorry, one of you asked a question and I totally walked over you. I'm sorry.
Oh no, we asked the same question.
Okay. So it'll take about a day's travel to get to Fairhaven. So you'll all you'll arrive in Fairhaven this time tomorrow, which is your first stop. Which is, of course, the cargo delivery portion of the 2 jobs that your crew acquired.
Perfect. Well, enjoy the ride.
And with that, you are all given to your own devices. The ship. You can wander about the ship at your leisure. You can pick out rooms, whatever you would like to do.
I'm gonna be taking this room.
You're gonna be taking the lounge.
This one right here. Oh, I can't move to it. Dang it! I was gonna move to Eli's captain.
You're gonna move to the cabin, captain's cabin. I like Gunny picked one of the larger rooms.
He is big.
That's true. He is big.
I was thinking about the other side, but the elevator going up and down would make noise, so I didn't want that.
So each of the rooms you have a bed, You have a cabinet of which to store your items, your clothing. There is a dressing table with a mirror and a stool, so if you need to, like, brush your hair or make yourself up. There's also a private shower and toilet in each of the rooms, so you don't have to worry about sneaking off to a bathroom if you need to use it, so to speak, if you feel like role-playing pooping.
Well,
Yes.
never mind. I still leave it there.
Okay. So some time passes. Unless you guys would like to do something else, we can allow time to pass.
Yeah, let's allow it.
Okay. Several hours pass as you're all getting used to the decks, choosing your rooms, figuring out what parts of the ship that you prefer and like the most. Again, the wood on the deck of the floors are this beautiful honey brown color, lacquered wood that just sort of has like a sheen to it. And every once in a while, you run into a member of the crew, which mostly consists of Warforged. At one time or another, you each notice that in addition to Elro, the first mate, Gripjaw, the bosun, the Cookie, the gnomish cook, and Leah Bix, the surgeon, you found a stout dwarf named Grimly, who is the quartermaster of the ship, who just sort of gives you all sort of a curt nod, no smile, just a stony visage. And of course, back in the lounge, the two passengers that were taken on, they continue to take in the view from out the enormous glass panes outside of the ship, watching as the horizon goes by. Wispy clouds in the distance, sort of somewhat obscuring your view, but for the most part, it is clear skies from all you can see. And a few hours go by until you're all summoned for dinner. One by one, making your way up to the war room / dining room, and set out before you now, gone is that view screen, which is set up in the middle of the glass table. It has raised up into the ceiling and affixed itself, and the glass table has sort of, that section that it was seated on has now merged together to make one long sheet of glass. And you have this beautiful spread in front of you, this immaculate diningware with sort of a gold-plated silverware, and of course your goblets are resting there as well. And a few of the Warforged crewmen assist the cook with distributing your meals for the evening, all prepared the way you like it, which at different intervals through the afternoon, you occasionally would get notes from the cook asking how you like your food prepared. Dinner goes off without a hitch. It's delicious. Your belly's full. You're all left to your own devices to freely roam the ships, to settle into your rooms, and to do whatever you wish.
Before dinner ends, I want to turn to Ender at the table.
Sure.
And, hey, Ender, we're heading to the Shadow Marshes. You said you're from there. Could you give us a little bit of information? Since we're heading into an unknown region. I've only read so much about it.
Well, the Shadow Marches, they're not like the rest of the areas of Eberron. They're a little bit different. Instead of it all being united underneath one king or patriarchy, it's several different clans. And all these clans, they kind of just do their own thing until 2-3 years ago. That's when things kind of changed a bit. Instead of us working separately to defend off, a lot of the dangers that are there, we all started to kind of start working together and nominated, because you could say a shogun of a kind. Immediately after that, that's when I left my guard and I started living off the land on my own with my own people. I ended up losing my family, and I lost my clan, everyone, and I basically was exiled. I left, and that's how I eventually found you guys. But the Shadow Marches, it's like a more tribal place. The people are very honorable. You won't see as many rude people, I guess you could say. Everyone follows a very strict social way of life. They're very, very proper, very highly mannered. It's a good place, but it's also a dangerous place.
You know most of the customs, right?
I do. I can help us all.
Well, I think you should speak for all of us there. You should be our guide.
I will assume that role.
Ender, if it's any help, I have had some dealings in the Shadow Marshes in the past, so I may know some connections. I am a bit out of contact with all of my family at the moment. She kind of looks down, but I know quite a bit from memory, so if there's any way I can help.
Of course. Out of character here. What would I know about the city I think we're heading to Zarashak, right?
Yes, that's your destination, the Lorander docking tower in Zarashak.
Would I know any, would I be able to share anything about the city to my party here?
Sure. You, of course, know that Zarashak is literally means the city of stilts. It's not a huge city. It's considered historically it's been considered the unofficial capital of the region. And right. It is the largest settlement, to your knowledge, when you lived there before. And of course, as you said, there's no official government historically. And that the House Tharash Enclave will maintain most of the influence within the region. And it's also the major port of Western Corvair, which is, of course, important because of what they export, which is Eberron dragon shards mainly.
I see. How do they mine dragon shards?
Well, typically, because of the nature of the mark of finding, House Tharash members use their dragon marks to help locate deposits of Eberron dragon shards. Eberron dragon shards, it's similar to a quartz. They're usually found contained within rock deposits, similar to a geode, where you'd have to find it and then crack it open to get at the dragon shard within.
Got it. I understand.
And of
I
course,
explain a lot of that to the party too. That's
sure.
Everything that Jeremy's saying, I'm also saying to the party.
You would also know that the Zarashak is mainly composed of orcs, with a good percentage of humans, some goblins, a very small percentage of half-orcs, which are mostly dragon-marked half-orcs, and a couple of a very tiny mix of the other races of Eberron. But it's mostly orcs and humans.
Are they racist? Towards, some of the lesser-known races?
Well, you, of course, would know that the clans are extremely xenophobic. They do not treat with, nor do they trust, any of the other nations. They're a proud people. The clans, the over 24 clans, of course, which have, unfortunately, over the years, many of those clans have died out. You, of course, came from a clan which you were trained as a samurai, and you served under, one of the many lords that led the clans before you decided to go on your sojourn.
Right. And then I left, and eventually my clan ended up dying, and that's how I ended up leaving all of the shadow marches.
You would also know that the city is also sometimes referred to as the City of Smells because of the rank smell of the briny ocean water that sort of crisscrosses from the many sort of floating paddocks of stilted buildings spread throughout the bay.
I see.
Well, I hope it's not too much trouble to go back to your homeland.
I imagine we'll all find out.
Did any of you want to do anything else during dinner?
No, I think I'm good.
Okay. Well, with that, you're all left to your devices. The crew clean up after you. Don't have to worry about cleaning up after yourselves in the war room / dining hall. And a few hours pass by as the sun begins to set. You're at various places in the ship. We'll just go down the line. Where are you at, Eli?
Oh, on the bridge.
You're on the bridge? Okay. What about you, Gunthral?
I am by the pool at a table.
Okay. And Lithana?
She's also at the pool.
And Ender?
I'm also going to be hanging out with Gunny.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, Lithana. I just moved myself on top of you.
Zito and
I was moving
Auri,
for you.
I presume you all went to the library?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right, everyone is settling in as the sun sets. Eli, as you're looking out off in the distance as the sun sinks down below the horizon, everyone on the ship suddenly hears the sound of thunderclaps. As, strangely, though the sky was completely clear, with a few wispy clouds here and there, there's suddenly a cluster of angry-looking clouds directly in front of the ship, in the way of your path to Fairhaven. And as the sun sinks low, you can see the flashing of the lightning in the distance. And it begins to rain.
I'm gonna turn to my first mate. Activate the shutters.
Okay. And there is a pneumatic sound as metal shutters begin to, all over the ship, over every single window and port opening, begin closing all around the ship, completely sealing the interior of the ship. The sound of the rain continues to hammer on the roof above your heads. Dampened in some areas, back on the lounge, Ender, Gunthral, Lithana, you can hear the sound of the rain hammering the side of the shutters, which are currently covering and obscuring your view of the outside. And the ship begins to lurch back and forth. And up on the deck, Eli, you now hear the first mate says, "Oh, the wheel is fighting me, Eli." and the wheel suddenly spins hard to the left and catches Elro's wrist, and you hear a sickening cracking noise as he calls out, "Ah! Oh, jeez, I think it's broken." And the whole ship lurches and shifts slightly, and a klaxon sound begins to ring out on the ship. And you just hear a mixture of voices as you from the openings, the apertures, the speakers on within the bridge. Eli, you can now hear the sounds of like, "Captain, Captain, we've had a spill, Captain. What in the blazes is that thing?" And you all hear this wrenching sound, this horrible sound that's crackling over the speakers all across the ship. This sound of fizzling and sizzling, and all of the elemental lanterns within the lounge, within the rooms, within the bridge sort of flicker in and out, going dark and then light again. What would you all like to do?
I will grab the wheel.
It's time to turn in. I'm heading to my room.
Okay, you're heading to your room?
No, not really, not really. Maybe we should head up to the bridge.
Okay. As you're passing through the hall, Ender,
Well, let's go.
looking at the planks in front of you, you suddenly see something rising from between the planks in front of you.
Pull out my weapon.
It sort of has a greenish color to it. It looks like a gas of some sort, and it begins to rise up through the planks, and the gas now begins to take a shape, and now you put yourself back there.
Okay.
And it rises up and appears to take form, and at the center of it, a part of it sort of evaporates a bit, and whatever this is roars in your face, seemingly alive. And that's where we're going to end for tonight.
No, I'm gonna roar back. That's where we're gonna end for the night.
Which maybe you guys will, if you survive the fart cloud.
He
Maybe you
exposed
got,
what it is. It's a fart cloud. Everyone.
Yeah. Somebody had that boar that was thrown in the trash. So that's what this is.
Oh,
Funny story, Anna. You get advantage when defending against that creature because of all the gas I have.
That's true. I feel like that is true.
Oh, good lord.
Yeah, I think the New Horizons better plumbing.
I
Yeah.
don't know what's more deadly, stinky trash, like Jimmy John's being left in the trash, or our roommate's pizza being left in the trash. One of those two would definitely cause some sort of evil entity.
That wrapper that I had that was in my car was pretty bad.
One of the worst smells I've ever smelled.
Yeah. That's pretty gross because there was vinegar and mayo, and I'm so sorry for describing that much.